Call this meeting to order. If everyone could please stand and join us for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Trustee Mattson?
Here.
Trustee Scalise? Here. Trustee Galuza? Here. Trustee Reiser?
Here.
Trustee Wilson?
Here.
Trustee Christopherson is absent. Mayor Balderman?
Here. All right, first up, Board, we have a proclamation for May 2025. We do this annually. It's Motorcycle Awareness Month. And the proclamation talks about Illinois being a national leader in motorcycle safety, education, and awareness. Motorcycles are a primary, common, and economical means of transportation that reduces fuel consumption and road wear and contributes in a significant way to the relief of traffic and parking congestion. It's especially meaningful that the citizens of our village and state be aware of motorcycles on the roadways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety. And the members of ABAID, a brotherhood aimed toward education, continually promote motorcycle safety, education, and awareness in high school drivers' education programs, and to the public in our village and state, presenting motorcycle awareness programs to over 120,000 participants in Illinois over the past 7 years. Encourage all motorcyclists to join ABAID of Illinois in actively promoting the safe operation of motorcycles, as well as promoting motorcycle safety, education, awareness, and respect. The motorcyclists of Illinois have contributed extensive volunteerism and money to the national and community charitable organizations, and during the month of May, all roadway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways throughout the village of New Lenox and throughout all of Illinois. And so on behalf of myself and the board, in recognition of 38 years of ABAID of Illinois, and over 352,318 registered motorcyclists statewide. We want to proclaim May 2025 as Motorcycle Awareness Month. So if you want to step forward, please. At 18, I started on a Honda Nighthawk 650 and ended up finally all the way through an Indian Chief to a Road King, to a Harley Road King. And then I said, I'm off the road. Too many people texting and not paying attention. So it really is important that that education be shared with everybody because it is so dangerous out there.
I'm Lisa, this is my husband Steve. I'm the legislative coordinator with the Will County ABAID. And we were wondering also, we have not been able to get into your schools. Our educators have not been able to get in there. So if you could give us a contact number, that would be great.
Right now you want me to give that?
Yeah. I would like one. I would like contact.
We will certainly give you, if you contact my office tomorrow, we'll pass it along.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, here, come on in here, scouts.
You're the short one. Yeah. He's like, what happened? You ready? Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. We appreciate all your efforts.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Be well. Take care. Troop 44 working on a badge tonight? Is that what they're doing? Excellent.
Yes.
Well, it's good to see you here. So.
Communication and citizenship in society.
Excellent. Well, very good to see you here. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have a public hearing for fiscal year 2025-26 budget. Madam Clerk, do we have proof of notice? All right, very good. Thank you. Is there anyone here that's going to speak on this matter that needs to be sworn in tonight? No? All right, then we'll open the public hearing. Kim?
Sure. So there's been no changes since the draft on March 17th, Council of the Whole meeting. We have a total revenue, operating budgeted revenue of $83,709,992, and operating budgeted expenditures of $65,420,991. Some highlights of the budget, in total operating revenues are exceeding expenditures. The budget assumes 160 new single-family homes plus a few small commercial and industrial permits. Sales tax, which accounts for sales tax revenue, which accounts for 43% of the general fund revenue, assumes 2.5% increase from over this current fiscal year. And on the expenditure side, 41% of the operating budget is related to personnel services, which includes a 4% cost of living increase. New to the budget is the Crossroads Sports Complex, operating revenue and expenditures. They're identified in a new fund, Fund 14, but they will be commingled into the general fund for reporting purposes. We do address a lot of the strategic priorities in the budget. Financial stability, we do maintain at least 25% of our fund balance. In fact, we're at, general fund is at 83%. For focused development and redevelopment strategic priority, we have developments going on such as the Crossroads Sports Complex, doing some commercial improvements up at by the complex, and there's some new residential developments included in the budget to add additional lots to our residential number. Sorry. Under the strategic priority for stable leadership, we are including or increasing our staff by 6, and we also continue to educate and train our staff. There are a lot of infrastructure, maintenance and improvement strategic priority items. Sewer, we are continuing with the regional treatment plant. The conveyance system will start construction, and wastewater treatment plant number 3 and the force main design will continue. Also, we'll finish up the Wellington lift station rehab. On the water side, we are going to do some main replacements again. This is in the southeast quadrant of Cedar Road and Wood. And we are going to develop or construct a elevated water tower that would serve the southeast quadrant of the village. Roadways, we are doing Cedar and Haven intersection improvements. They will be completed by the fall, and we are once again doing an expanded annual road overlay program. And then Route 30 medians will be enhanced. And then we'll continue to do some work at the Commons to tack on to what's been going on this fiscal year. So overall, that is the budget in a nutshell. If there's any questions, this budget has been on the website for public review also.
Any questions for Kim on that? All right, I'm just going to make a couple comments on the record here. Local governments are responsible for providing services that people rely on. Police services, infrastructure improvements, clean water, sewer, that falls on local municipalities. Unfortunately, we are in a state where the leaders of state government are constantly looking for ways to balance their mismanagement of funds. We are supposed to be, as it's been up until 2011, collecting 10% of the income tax for our local government distributive fund. We don't get that. We're under 7%. We're at about 6.75, which costs us a tremendous amount of money. There's issues with the use tax, I know. We're looking at dollars that we're supposed to be getting. Our MFT funds get reduced on a regular basis. And it's nothing more than a pure political stunt. The state of Illinois did away with the grocery tax, which they never collected. It went only to municipalities, which everyone might think is a good idea. And it may save you, without a grocery tax, $100, $120 a year on your grocery bill, but it's going to cost a municipality over $1 million. And then some, as we see Pete's being constructed. One of the reasons that we engaged in that partnership with Cooper's Hawk and Pete's was because of the revenue that we would collect from the grocery tax, so we can continue to provide services for our community. But we are constantly under attack from Springfield, who, it's no surprise to anybody here, is one of the worst run and mismanaged states in the country. And it's falling on our taxpayers' back. You all know this, the high property taxes in the state of Illinois, primarily funding education. The village gets a small portion of that, roughly 4%. Almost 70% goes to all levels of schooling, but it's not their fault. It's because the state of Illinois is supposed to be providing a majority of funding for public education, and in this community, our high school district and our grade school districts are getting about 10% funding from the state, not 50+%. So we have this fiscally responsible budget that Kim has presented, but we are a growing community. We made a promise to our people years ago when we became a home rule community that one of the things we would do is increase fixing our local streets. We went from fixing 1.5 miles of local roads a year to 7 miles a year. We've kept that promise. But we are constantly under attack from one of the worst run states in the country. And it falls on us here in local municipalities. So our staff does a great job of providing services at every level, whether it's at the village hall or through our public works or through our police department, doesn't matter. We provide the best services around. I'm so confident in what we do in this town. But we are losing sources of revenue despite the amount of development that we see because we happen to be in the state of Illinois. I will give credit to Representative DeLuca, who has worked very hard to try and get the local government distributive fund back to where it's at. He's had some minor increases, but you know, when we claw back $1, they take $2 somewhere else. So it's really very, very disheartening to see because we want to do so much for our town. But between the political gamesmanship in Springfield and their poor management of their own budget and the crazy things that they are spending money on and the unfunded mandates that they pass along to every local branch of government, the taxpayers are fed up. But I can tell you that we're doing the best we can with the money that we receive here through sales tax and minimal property tax. Our schools are doing the best that they can. But if we continue to go down the road that we've been going down for many years in this state, it's going to get harder and harder. So, Kim, thank you for presenting a fiscally responsible budget. Kurt, to you and all of our staff. It's a shame. We should always be tightening our belts anyways, no matter what our fiscal condition is. But it's just, it's a shame we have to fight people that we should be partners with. So if there's nothing else for Kim on this, we'll close the public hearing at this time. All right. Next up, we have a public hearing for an annexation agreement for Spencer Meadows. Madam Clerk, you have proof of notice? All right, thank you. Is there anyone here that's going to speak on this matter tonight that needs to be sworn in? If you could, please stand up and be sworn in by the clerk.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to the village board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Robin?
Yes, Spencer Meadows consists of a 21.65 acre property. It surrounds the mulch business on the corner of Spencer and Laraway Road. It includes a portion of that property that's currently owned by the owner of the mulch. This kind of shows how that lays out. It is contiguous to the village limits. Ashton Estates North is adjacent to the south, and Bristol Park Subdivision is to the west.
So staff is recommending approval. It's a logical extension of our corporate limits. They're not proposing any rezoning, so the property would be zoned R1 upon annexation, but they are proposing a planned unit development in order to address some variances from the subdivision and zoning ordinance. The proposal includes a total of 55 lots, so the density is just a little over 2.5 units per acre, which is consistent with the comprehensive plan. There is a considerable open space with the detention pond in the center, and then they would be constructing a path along Spencer Road and then up to Laraway Road. 53 of the lots are proposed to be cottage homes. These would be similar to what Ryan Homes built over in Heather Glen. They're age targeted. They are not age restricted, but their target market is 55 and older. They are all ranch. The minimum lot size is just a little over 7,000 square feet and 61 feet in width. This is actually larger than what was approved for the Ryan for Heather Glen. Setbacks are similar. Because some of the lots do back up to existing lots in Ashton Estates and in Bristol Park, we are recommending that the rear yard setbacks for those lots be either 30 feet or 25 feet, but then the lots along the interior within the park, within the detention pond would be a 15-foot rear yard setback. There are a couple subdivision code waivers for lot width and frontage. Staff has no concerns with those. There is an odd little 5-foot bite strip kind of in the northeast corner there that would preclude access, extending that road through the mulch farm if and when that ever is proposed for development. So staff is asking that that be eliminated. These are the proposed building elevations. They will all comply with our building code, first floor brick, anti-monotony. And then they're also proposing a monument sign at the entrance off of Spencer Road. With regards to the annexation agreement itself, I just want to call and get some direction on a couple of issues. First, they're requesting to keep a temporary office building or trailer for a sales office through the life of the development. The subdivision code allows it to be no longer than 1 year or upon issuance of a certificate of occupancy for a model home. Staff is just concerned that, we have not done this in the past. It's our recommendation that they comply with the code. There are also a couple of signs for Ashton Estates North that are on this property, which, since it's unincorporated, would have been permitted through Will County. They're requesting that they be allowed to remain, but then they are also asking for 4 temporary signs of their own on the property, where the subdivision code would allow 1 on Laraway and 1 on Spencer. So we feel that the off-premise signs should be eliminated and removed within 60 days, and that the signs for this subdivision comply with the code. Spencer Road was previously improved along the frontage, so the only improvements that would be required is the 10-foot path along the west side of Spencer Road. The main item that we've been discussing with the developer is water main extension. Our Public Works Department has run the water model numerous times under different scenarios, and it all comes back to water main needs to be extended all the way across Laraway Road to Spencer and then looped to the south. That is a substantial expense for a 21-acre subdivision, but there is no other option. That extension is part of our capital improvement plan. It's something that benefits the village's system as a whole. So the developer would be requesting a reduction in the tap-on fees for the cost of extending and oversizing that 16-inch main. I think that's the highlights of the agreement. The Plan Commission held public hearing on this last month and recommended approval of the annexation and the preliminary PUD plat.
They say what kind of reduction they wanted in the tap-on?
I think it would be dollar for dollar based on what that extraordinary cost would be.
And that's a definite benefit for the entire area that going in.
Okay. All right, petitioner, want to come up and address some of the comments from staff, please? Just state your name for the record.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. My name is Braden Kaup, and I am with LNS Development Group. Robin did a pretty good introduction onto the Spencer Meadows, so I will save some time and avoid that. And yeah, a couple of the items Robin brought up. Typically only allow 1 year for the building. We planned on using it for more of a sales center, have people come in and see options. And I guess you can move models. It's just a little cumbersome, and it'd be nice to just have it all one spot, one place, and also allow me to keep some of my equipment indoors opposed to leaving it to the sun and rain. So
Where would you put the trailer on the location?
So actually, if you see lot 54 and lot 55, there's that gap right where those add missing parkway trees arrow is.
Okay.
And so there's an existing metal building that is 40 by 80 that is already stands. So we were just going to go in there and make it.
So visible from Spencer Road?
Correct.
Okay. All right, go ahead. If you would like to continue to address what.
The off-premise signs removed and new signs approved. Part of that is the developer to the south, Camelot Homes. They had an easement on the far west side of our property that was purchased from Camelot Homes to allow us to develop this area, and then so we felt that it would be kind of I don't know proper wording, but taking back something that they already had that they kind of gifted us. So I think some kind of advertising would be beneficial for the developer to the south. And last main for the water main reduction, yeah, we would request dollars in reduction, so.
Okay. Is there anyone else from your group that wants to speak at this time, or no?
I think we're all,
You okay?
yeah.
All right, if you could just hold on. Comments or questions from the board at this time? Go ahead. Anything?
I do have one.
Sure.
So the trailer is going to be a sales center as opposed to having a model with a sales center in it?
So not a trailer. It's a metal pole barn,
Okay.
40 by 70. It's already, it's an existing building that was purchased with the land. And we would, right now it's just an open floor plan in a concrete floor barn. And so we would build it out, put some offices, and use it halfway as a field office, halfway as a sales center, showpiece, that kind of.
All right.
What's the plan when you're done with that then? You're gonna take down the,
Take it down and come in for phase 3 and develop those 3 lots as part of this association, homeowners, community.
And what's the anticipated phasing of this? I mean, it's a small.
There it is.
Okay.
One of the things that needs to be worked out is how the utilities are phased with the lots. So that needs to be worked through before it's brought back for second read on the preliminary PUD plat.
Okay. All right. Anything else from anybody? So so currently they can have it for a year, Robin,
Yes.
the trailer? But it's an existing structure that's already there?
You can actually see it on the plan there. It shows that metal building where those lots should be.
Is it in decent shape, Robin? Have you seen it? Is it?
I have not.
The buildings in that whole area, if you were objected to the buildings, you wouldn't buy a house in that. It's all
That's what I'm
off
saying,
of
is it
It's
looks-
off of that farmstead.
You're right.
That's right there. So you would, if it's going away in the distant future, I don't see an objection to that for a temporary, instead of building a building, then moving to another one, especially in a smaller subdivision. Sometimes, actually, for the end user, sometimes it's worse because they move models and they have to wait for someone else to build another model. So the end up buyer ends up waiting for a period of time for the model to be moved out.
Well, and knowing that and looking at this, we're not annexing that anyway, so I don't even think
So
we
it
need to
wouldn't be a
address
part
it.
of
It'd
it,
be
isn't it?
unincorporated.
Until that time where they want to.
Correct.
Okay, so that's no longer an issue then, Robert,
Yeah, I
for
think
now?
we would just eliminate any reference to it.
Because it's not being annexed in at this time.
Correct.
All right, well, I guess that solves that. I don't have an objection. Go ahead, Robin. Or I'm sorry, Lindsay, did you ask?
I don't have any
All right,
questions.
I don't have a problem with us matching dollar for dollar on the tap-on. Does the board object to that at all? All right, so you took care of so you got what you wanted with the tap-on.
Yep.
You get to keep your pole barn, but the signs, we'll just stick to that's not a big deal, so we'll just stick to the sign. Is there any other issues other than those three, Robin?
No, just cleaning up the language and then, like I said, dealing with the preliminary engineering before it's brought back for second read.
All right, does this sound good?
Very good.
Anything else? All right, this time then we'll close the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, next up is the consent agenda, which consists of 13 items. They are the minutes of the council of the whole meeting, March 17th, 2025, a proclamation for National Donate Life Month, ordinance granting special use for a massage establishment, 330 West Maple Zen Wellness Spa, an ordinance granting special use for a massage establishment, 318 Alana Drive Shine Healing Spa, ordinance rezoning property 328 East Lincoln Highway, resolution declaring Arbor Day in the Village of New Lenox for April 25th, 2025, consideration for approval request for approval of a plat of easement for Jiffy Lube, ordinance creating a Class TE liquor license for the 2025 Commons events for the village, approval of a lease agreement, Will Scott Mobile Office Trailers for the Commons, approval of contracts for band bookings for common events, and surety reductions for the following: Ashton Estates North Public Improvements, Jacobs Field Unit 4, and Jacobs Field Unit 5. Does any member wish any of those items to be pulled and discussed separately? All right, if not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by trustee Riser, second by trustee Mattson. If there's nothing further, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wilson,
Aye.
trustee Mattson,
Aye.
trustee Galuza,
I and abstain from A.
trustee Scalise. Aye. Trustee Riser,
Aye.
Mayor Balderman.
Aye, motion carries. All right, first up, under order of business, we have consideration ordinance creating a Class D2 liquor license for the Vine. Deborah Molesky is here. She has no issues with the background check. It's just for first read. But would you like to come up and talk a little bit about your business? Please step forward.
Hi, my name is Deborah Molesky. Thank you for letting me speak. I just wanted to give you an overview, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I know that I met with you in the
Yes.
fall. Yes. On the Vine. I'm really excited to say that, first of all, the location is going to be in the Calistoga Plaza. It's going to be, if you're familiar with the old barber shop, that has, that's what I'd like to take over anyway. And what it's going to be is a large variety of wines with specialty drinks. We are going to have a menu, which I'm working on right now with a bunch of cooks and chefs I've been meeting with, for small plated foods, offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm going to be doing a Wine of the Month Club, holding small events there. It's about 1,400 square feet, so it's not a large area there, but we're going to be doing that. And then I'm going to be doing some taste testing parties as well. I'm really excited because for many years I've been driving around and I've been looking at that location, and the development is amazing. So I think it's going to do very well. And also today, which I'm happy to say, I met finally with my whole team. I want you to know that I'm taking this very seriously, the whole build-out. It's taken a while. I know we met in the fall.
Yeah, that was a while ago, right?
It has, but since then, the whole process is just, even though it's slow, finally after today, the general contractors We all met, the general contractors, the architect. I have a design team. I have a builder that is specifically doing the lighting, building the bar area. I have my tables that are being made, a floating table. So we actually all met today to make sure that the space is just designed well. And I think it's going to be really well run. So I'm very excited about this, and I'm looking forward to it. Of course, we're going to have seasonal foods and seasonal beverages and things like that as well. So
Well, Deborah, it's good to see you again.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you're back. Are there any questions for Deborah? No? All right, well, we look forward to it. We'll have this back up for a vote at our next board meeting. You're not required to attend.
Okay,
but
thank
you're all
you,
set.
and I hope that it's a go, and we're going to have a really nice grand opening too, so you'll all be invited.
We look forward to that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, next up, we have consideration for approval of final plat M&M Victoria subdivision. Robin?
Yes, under your consent agenda, the property at 328 East Lincoln Highway was rezoned to the C2 district. This is the same property. They're proposing two-lot subdivision. The existing building and parking lot would remain on Lot 1, just over a half acre in size, and the remaining acre and a half would be on would be marketed for another commercial use. Because of the frontage, there would only be one shared access from Route 30, and that easement is accommodated on this plat. So staff is seeking board approval of this subdivision tonight.
All right, is petitioner here? Anything that
Yes.
needs to be added? Anything that needs to be added, or are we all good, council?
I think we're all good, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Robin or the petitioner? No? All right, we're good. Is there a motion to approve the final plat?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Mattson. If there's nothing further, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Balderman?
Aye, motion carries. Good luck. Thank you very much. All right. Next up, we have consideration of an ordinance authorizing the execution of an annexation agreement for Spencer Meadows, first read. D is going to be ordinance annexing certain property of the Village of New Lenox, Spencer Meadows, first read. E is an ordinance granting a special use for a preliminary PUD plat for Spencer Meadows, first read. So C, D, and E. Robin, anything else you want to add, talk to about that?
Nope.
Anything else the petitioner wants to discuss at this time? No? Anything else from the board? All right, you'll work through all that language stuff and then bring it back when it's ready, right? All right, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Okay, next up, we have consideration of an ordinance granting a special use for a preliminary, consideration of ordinance rezoning property for 18233 Gougar Road. Robin?
Yes, this request and then the one below it is granting a special use for a agricultural use in the E district. They kind of go together. This property is a 10-acre piece along the east side of Gougar Road. The petitioner is looking to divide the property into two lots. They can do so without having to go through a formal subdivision. However, the agricultural district requires a minimum lot area of 10 acres. So they are requesting a rezoning to the estate district, which would accommodate two 5-acre parcels. The area is predominantly zoned agricultural back from when the properties were all annexed in the mid-90s. You've got Prairie Ridge subdivision to the north that is zoned R1, and then there have been a couple of parcels over time that have been rezoned to that estate district along Gougar Road. So the requested zoning district is not out of character for the area. This shows how they propose to subdivide it into the two 5-acre parcels. The parcel 2 is requesting permission to have a horse, which is not accommodated in the estate district as a permitted use, but they can do a special use for an agricultural use. So the ordinance is crafted as such that they would be allowed one horse on that property. So I know that the petitioners are here if you have any questions.
Does the petitioner have anything they want to add? Oh, Jim?
Mayor, trustees, Jim Olguin here on behalf of the petitioner. The request is fairly straightforward. The only thing that I would note also is in terms of the equestrian use, this area really lends itself to that. There's actually an equestrian stables right across the street, and you're within trotting distance for an equestrian trail, which is one of the reasons that we're requesting that. So obviously with all the agricultural use in the area, that equestrian and stables would be permitted, so this fits right in with the area. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, I live over there, and the horse doesn't bother me. However, the roosters and everything that somebody has that was in agricultural bothers all kind of people. So it's a horse, and
It's one horse.
that's it.
It's one horse.
Doesn't start with a horse. Come back with some goats and.
Yeah, as to that, I don't know if that would require another special use for a
It would.
rooster.
It would.
but,
Because the
so-
condition of the special use is that it is for one horse.
Yeah, so that's the extent of that we're requesting, and I think that
I
would
love
require-
horses, that's wonderful. Don't come back for the roosters, ladies. That's not gonna happen. Any questions from the board on this? It's a great use over there, it's a nice piece of property, and it is absolutely, it fits in with what's going on there. So-
Great. Thank you.
All right. Okay, then we will bring that back. Nothing else, Robin, on that?
Just I failed to mention that the Plan Commission held the public hearings and recommended approval.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. All right. Next up, we have consideration of an ordinance granting special use for an outdoor patio, 1300 North Cedar Road for Hog Wild. First read. Robin?
Yes. Hog Wild is located at the northeast corner of Francis and Cedar. It's the southernmost tenant space of that mixed-use shopping center. They are requesting a 270-square-foot patio in the front of the building. It does accommodate the entire sidewalk, so one of the things that staff asked for them to accommodate, similar to what was done when Hickory Creek Brewing was down at Nelson and Lairway, is there would be gates at both sides of the patio so that if there was somebody that needed to get through from an accessibility standpoint, that they would be able to do that without having to go back out into the parking lot. But this is the area where the patio would be proposed. There would be a 4-foot fence around the patio, so that would prevent the passing of food and beverages to outsiders. The main entrance would still be through the restaurant, minus the gates for access. There's a couple of site issues that staff has asked for them to address. The first is they've striped a handicap parking space, but they have a raised curb, so it's really not accessible. As this intersection is under construction, the property owner has made some improvements to the property, but some will be postponed until the work at the intersection is complete. However, by law, they need to have 5 accessible parking spaces, so they need to address this or relocate it somewhere else. And then throughout the parking lot, there's a lot of missing striping that needs to be done. It's when it gets very crowded up there, the parking lot is not very well organized because people can't see where they're supposed to park without the striping, so it's not efficient in the way people are parking, which makes it at times seem like there is a parking shortage. Even with the addition of the patio square footage, they do comply with our parking requirements. With the ultimate striping plan that would be implemented after the intersection improvements are done. With respect to the special use, the ordinance includes the conditions for the hours of operation, which would be 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, midnight Friday and Saturday. They would not be having any outdoor live entertainment, but they do plan on having speakers and some televisions out there, which would have to be turned off at those same times. Staff is also suggesting that they put a 6-inch barrier curb where the patio would be adjacent to the parking lot, just to provide a little, there are bollards as well, but just to provide a little bit more protection for people that would be on the patio. And the property owner, or the petitioner, unfortunately had a family issue come up. He emailed late today and could not find somebody to come in on his behalf, but he is not here to answer any questions. I said I'd follow up with him tomorrow.
All right, well, I have a couple to begin with. Number one, as you know, we've had some conversations in a different location. Our businesses are unfortunately not always in compliance with handicap parking. That's a big problem for me. I want to make sure that we have totally accessible handicap spaces that are convenient for those that have a disability, you know, not stuck somewhere where they don't belong. So not only would the curb have to be corrected, but I want to make sure that there's adequate and fair handicap parking. The other is, I know the majority of the businesses in there operate really during daytime hours and whatnot, but we've got some longstanding businesses in that center. Was there any conversation with any of them as far as if they had any concerns about having a patio out front like that?
There were some of the adjoining business owners that were at the Plan Commission meeting.
Okay.
It wasn't that they were opposed to the patio, they were just concerned that there did not seem to be sufficient parking, and there was discussion about whether the landlord would put signs up reserving spaces for specific uses. It's really not a village issue to address, and where it's been done in other locations. I think here, the main issue is that the parking lot just needs to be restriped so that cars are better directed to park in an organized manner.
Well, I mean,
The
that we
Plan Commission
can,
ultimately recommended approval.
yeah, but I mean, that we can talk to the owner about, the building owner about making sure that it's properly striped.
Correct.
And
That is a condition of the special use for the patio.
Yeah, because I mean, there's at least one other business in there that gets very busy at times as well. So a longstanding business that all right, so if there was no objection from the rest of them and they addressed the parking lot issues and the handicap parking, it satisfies me. Other comments or questions from the board?
I had one.
Sure.
Is the handicap spots specific for the business or for the entire strip of businesses? Will this outside eating area restrict those handicap spots if they're, say, going down to CP Meats or the hair salon?
That's why we were recommending or requiring that gate, so that if somebody, it is for the entire plaza. I don't think that they're all just in front of this tenant space.
They're not.
I think there are some
Okay.
further down to the north. But yes, they're for the plaza. So that's why we wanted to make sure if somebody did get on the sidewalk here, that they could continue on to the other tenants.
Yep. Very good.
Can you go back to the photo that shows, yes, that photo? So there will be parking spots directly in front. So my concern, and I know you said you would put in, it would be a 6-inch
And there's bollards up
curb
there
and the
as well.
bollards,
Right.
but with that parking lot being as tight as it is, and the cars being, I mean, those cars are gonna be right up on top of that patio. My biggest concern would be a safety issue, right? Somebody hits the gas and drive. I mean, I
mean, that could happen anytime, and it does, unfortunately. As we've seen cars go through businesses yeah, I mean, so I think that's why we do have the bollards and the raised curb and whatnot, but yeah, I mean,
it's
but I mean, I guess
right-
even if you
right
look
there.
at if you look at North and Maple now, they have the same thing where they have that outdoor patio that's right on the parking lot. I know it's tough wanting to be able to allow them to have some sort of
They're built up a
that.
lot higher. Don't they have more brick? Don't they have more?
Yeah, but they do, but like I said, we've seen cars go through the bricks and into the buildings and whatnot. So it's tough. It's a tight space.
It's a real tight
Yeah.
space.
I think getting the parking lot restriped and getting things organized there, it's going to help tremendously. I've been there too, and actually it was on a snowy night, so it was even worse, but cars are scattered about, and I think once things are a little more organized, you're going to be able to fit more cars in that parking lot, because oftentimes cars are taking up multiple spaces.
Well, and another thing that was brought up at the Plan Commission public hearing is that there are a number of parking spaces around the rear of the building.
Right.
That was intended for employees
Right.
of the uses, and those were not being utilized by other businesses, even though that was available to them. So they were, in some respect, creating their own concern.
All right. Any other comments for staff? No? All right, then why don't you bring that back for
Okay.
second read. Thanks, Robin. All right, next we have consideration for approval request for a temporary use permit for Bothwell Farms at 1259 North Cedar Road.
And in keeping with tradition, Mr. Bothwell is always here
Yes.
on one of our busiest agendas.
That's right.
They are proposing to go at the southwest corner with Ranch Frosties, where they've been the last couple of years. Nothing has really changed with regards to their setup and their location. There would be signs posted so that their customers don't block the pickup spaces for the daycare. And if you recall, at the end of the day, when they have done all of the intersection improvements, there will be new access and new parking lot layout, making it much more safe for all the uses in the center, and then as well as accommodating a permanent concrete pad area for Bothwell in the future.
And it's worked out well up there, you haven't had any issues. All right, any questions on that? No, glad to see you staying in town and doing what you do. You do it very well, so it's good to have you here. All right, if not, is there a motion for approval of the request for the temporary use permit?
So moved.
Second.
I believe it was motion by trustee Mattson, second by trustee Riser. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Mayor Balderman?
Aye, motion carries. Good luck. Good to see you both. All right. Next, we have consideration for approval request for site plan and building code waiver, 1702 Ferro Drive Self-Storage Facility. Robin?
Yes, this property is at the far east end of the cul-de-sac of Ferro Drive, where it abuts I-80. The proposal is for a 4-story climate-controlled self-storage facility. This is the proposed site plan. As you can see from the first floor plan, there are large loading and unloading areas inside of the building, so the intent is for cars to pull in, unload, and then there are elevators to take them up to the other floors. From a site plan standpoint, the parking complies with the zoning ordinance. They do show landscaping in compliance with the zoning ordinance. So from that perspective, and stormwater detention is already accommodated for with the center and some storm sewer improvements on site. The other issue is the building elevations. The building code requires a masonry or stone front elevation facing a public street. It does allow metal siding on the remaining side. But because this is a 4-story building, they are proposing to have masonry along the first floor that extends above the overhead doors, but then they would have a mix of insulated and uninsulated metal panels for the remainder of the front building elevation, as well as the side elevations would have some masonry, but then the predominant material would be the insulated panels. If you recall, the Cherry Hill Triangle property that was recently annexed into the village in anticipation of in that instance, a cold storage facility, but similar allowance was made through that annexation agreement to allow additional building materials. Oops. But all staff comments have been addressed, so we're bringing it for your approval tonight.
All right, any questions for Robin on that? All right, if not, is there a motion to approve request for the site plan and building code waiver?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Wilson. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Mayor Balderman?
Aye, motion carries. Next on K, we have consideration for approval of a setting of surety for that building at 1702 Ferro Drive, which Will is recommending the letter of credit for the public improvements to be $518,432.50 with the expiration date of April 14th, 2027. Any questions on that? Is there a motion to approve the setting of surety?
So moved. Second.
Motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Galuza. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Trustee Galuza.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Mayor Balderman.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, board, next up, we have consideration of approval of resolution for the sale of certain property of real estate from the village to New Lenox EMS Properties LLC, that's 250 East Maple. As you recall, we had a contract to sell this prior. Something happened with the previous prospective owner. We had a new one that came in right away. You see demolition's already begun on that. We'll be excited, hopefully in the very near future, once they go through their due diligence, to announce that restaurant that's looking to go there. They are looking to build between an 8,000 and 9,000 square foot restaurant with 250 or so seats inside. They've been working with staff on the layout. That sale is for $1,226,200, which is what we have into it, both with the acquisition of the property as well as the demolition of the property. So are there any questions on that?
It's a great deal.
It's
Worked
really,
out well.
it's a good deal for everybody,
Yeah.
so it'd be really nice when we can announce that to the community, so.
This is your fight back against the state.
Yeah, we're doing what we can, that's for sure. All right, if there's nothing further, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Riser, second by trustee Scalise. No comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Trustee Galuza.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Mayor Balderman.
Aye, motion carries. Next up, we have consideration for approval of resolution amending the annual budget for fiscal year 2024, 2025. Kim?
Yes. This is a standard that we do this amendment once a year, close to the end of the fiscal year, once we've established proposed projections for the way that the end of the year will finish up. So in total, there's a increase in expenses of $3,099,001. It is various, most of it's general fund, but there are amendments to other funds such as sewer and water and motor fuel tax.
Very good. Any questions for Kim on that? All right, is there a motion to approve the resolution amending the annual budget for fiscal year 2024, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Mattson, second by trustee Riser. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Trustee Galuza.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Mayor Balderman.
Aye, motion carries. Now we have consideration for approval of resolution adopting the annual budget for fiscal year 2025, 2026. Kim, anything else you want to add? No, any questions for Kim? All right, is there a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Mattson, second by trustee Scalise. If there's nothing further, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Galuza.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Mayor Balderman.
Aye, motion carries. All right, now we've got some really good things happening. We have joined into more sponsorships for sponsorship agreements here for our sports complex. First up for you tonight is consideration of approval of a resolution authorizing sponsorship agreement with the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. This is a 5-year sponsorship in the amount of $50,000, which will give them some interior signage as well as other things that are included in that deck. Any questions on that one? No? All right, is there a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Mattson, second by trustee Scalise. If there's nothing further, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Trustee Galuza.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Mayor Balderman.
Aye, motion carries. Next up, we have consideration of approval of resolution authorizing a sponsorship agreement with Kozel Brothers. These are for alcoholic non-liquor beverages at the Crossroads Sports Complex. This is a 7-year agreement at $50,000 a year, so a total of $350,000, and includes entitlement of the Coors Light Chill Zone Beer Garden. Any questions on that? No. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Wilson. If there's nothing further, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin?
Aye, motion carries. Next up, we have consideration for approval, resolution authorizing use license agreement, SA Legends Lacrosse. Does business as Legends Lacrosse. This is for our sports complex on October 25th and 26th in the amount of $13,500. This is a local chapter of National Lacrosse Travel. Now, we talked about.
They're just switching out from
Right.
the one that you already approved. so.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so it's not an amendment, it is a new agreement. As we talked about, $13,500 doesn't seem like a whole lot for a couple days. I mean, it's still good money, but we're talking October 25th and 26th, so we're getting an awful lot of use out of our outdoor facility out there. All right, any questions on that? Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Riser, second by trustee Scalise. If there's nothing further, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin?
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have consideration ordinance amending Chapter 60 alcoholic beverages of the Village Code to create a new sports facility liquor license classification. We'll be working with the Park District on this to be able to hold the liquor license up there, but as a new class that Chris and his firm have worked with Laura on to get on the books. Any questions on that? All right. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance amending Chapter 60?
So moved.
Second.
Should we waive second read?
I beg your,
Waive second
First
read,
read.
or,
yeah.
sorry.
Well, all right. Yeah, we can,
It's up for first. We were wondering if you wanted to.
yeah, let's
to
do
move
it so
things
they can
forward.
move forward with the other stuff
Yeah,
that
they
they
gotta
want to do.
go through this.
All right, is there a motion to set aside the rules and waive?
I
So
can make
moved.
that motion.
Motion by trustee Mattson, second
I'll
by trustee
second.
Scalise.
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by voice vote of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we have a motion on the floor. Give it to me again, please, for the ordinance amending Chapter 60.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Galuza. If there's nothing further, a roll call, please.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin?
Aye, motion carries. All right, we'll do the same thing here. We have consideration ordinance creating a Class SF liquor license for the sports complex at 350 Cedar Crossings Boulevard.
That's the same.
Same thing. Why do we have it
Yeah,
here?
it's just not twice.
All right, so we'll take a, okay,
Well, the one is, I'm sorry, the one is.
One's to
is-
create the liquor license, one is to create.
To adopt.
You approve the license.
yeah, so we did that, so we're all good then.
So
All
it's,
right,
yeah, one's
so we're all
creating it
set.
and then the other is approving our first one forward.
Well, one is amending the ordinance to
Yes.
create that, and then one is creating it to. for
The actual
complex.
license.
The
Yes.
actual license, yes.
Yes, so I need an ordinance to create this license.
Mhm.
Yes. Is there a motion for that? And, well, first of all, we'll set aside the rules and waive second read.
So moved.
Good motion.
Motion by trustee Mattson, second by trustee Scalise. All those in favor signify by a voice vote of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Riser, second by trustee Scalise. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, next up is consideration for approval of our proposal Route 30 Development Additional Demolition Services. As we got in there, ADM, is requesting $20,500 for additional cost of demolition of 100 East Maple, 204 North Cedar, and 208 North Cedar. There was some unidentified hidden material that needed to be.
Yeah, we
removed.
always hate to come back and ask for more money, but actually, they gave us credit for areas where they thought there was gonna be more. We had old foundations from a few different buildings that had been patched together over the years, and there was more asphalt layers in there than anticipated. We did look and talk to a local demolition company that works here in town and said, just to verify, they thought that the request was within parameters that would be expected.
Very good. Any questions on that? Is there a motion to approve the proposal?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scalise, second by trustee Galuza. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, next up, we have consideration for approval of proposal, Public Works deep cleaning. Mark?
This is to clean the entire Public Works facility, basically from the rafters all the way down to the floor. Hasn't been done in the 10, 12 years we've been there. So we did go out to bid on February 26th. After doing some research, we did bypass the lowest bidder. They failed to satisfy the requirements in the bid proposal. So we are asking to award the contract to Vega Building Maintenance in the amount of $27,432.63, and that was under budget.
All right, so it's $27,432.63.
You know what?
Yeah, can you check that, because we got a little issue here with the packet. Just want to make sure we got the exact dollar.
Yeah, there's one too many numbers in there.
Yes.
$27,429.63.
$429.63.
Strike
All right.
three.
Any questions for Mark on that? All right, is there a motion to approve the proposal?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Mattson, second by trustee Scalise. If there's nothing further, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin?
Aye, motion carries. Next up, we have consideration for approval of a proposal for fence removal and replacement 907 Country Creek and Route 30 Metro Lot. Mark?
Yeah, once again, we opened bids on February 26th. This is to remove and replace the fence on the south and the west sides of the old Public Works facility, as well as the section of fence at the Route 30 commuter lot. Once again, the lowest bidder not satisfy the requirements of the bid proposal, so we bypassed them to go to Proline Fence in the amount of $34,566, and this was also under budget.
All right, very good. Any questions for Mark on that? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by trustee Mattson, second by trustee Wilson. If there's nothing further, a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Galuza?
Aye.
Trustee Scalise?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Riser?
Aye.
Trustee Mattson?
Aye.
Mayor Baldwin?
Aye, motion carries. Anything else, Mark? You all good? All right, thank you. Okay, on our reports and communications, we will not need a meeting next week. I'm still working with Kurt and Kim on a few items to bring back for a work session, but we're not ready for that next week. So we'll look at a future work session for that. Again, all 6 concerts are out there and available for purchase. And now we did it with our village code to begin with, but now they're open to the public. So we're really excited about that. Ticket sales are going well for all of the shows. But we certainly recommend, if you're in town, that you jump on them, because we haven't really started marketing it much outside of here, but we're about to do that. And once we do, I have a feeling it's going to be a different scenario. So again, if you're in town, we would recommend you get your tickets as soon as possible. I don't have anything else. There's nothing for me, village attorney.
No.
All right, thank you, village administrator.
No, it's a mess in that area, but it's a reinvestment that the board had made for the strategic plan of the corner of Route 30 and Cedar and Haven. You'll see the configuration of the new roundabout is going. We'll start the week of the 21st. You see the demolition, and the board approved the new building going in there. We're waiting for the no further remediation on that corner. So major reinvestment by the village, you'll see it's taking the steps forward, so.
It really, really is. And, I mean, everybody has their opinion about roundabouts. Most of the people that have a negative opinion have probably never driven one, but it is a much, much safer and more efficient way of moving traffic through there. So we're excited to see that happen. And like I've said numerous times before, the alternative is to leave it where it is and everyone just stop and stare at each other because no one knows who's supposed to go or not go. So if you can't figure out how to drive a roundabout, you should probably surrender your license to the Secretary of State. It's a pretty easy thing to do. So, anything else, Kurt?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you. Payroll and disbursements, Trustee Matz.
Yes, sir. I make the motion to approve our bi-monthly disbursements in the amount of $4,825,837.34. In addition to these disbursements, approval is needed for a payroll in the amount of $493,562.57 paid on April 4th, 2025, and that is in the form of motion.
And I will second that.
All right, motion's been properly moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Mattson.
Aye.
Trustee Galuza.
Aye.
Trustee Scalise.
Aye.
Trustee Riser.
Aye.
Mayor Balderman.
Aye, motion carries. Anything else, Keith?
No.
All right, thank you. Questions or comments from the floor? Big guy, you got anything tonight? No? Scouts? Got nothing tonight? You don't want to ask anything?
When's the roundabout,
We're not telling you. Roundabout's supposed to get started here in just a week or two. It'll take about 5 months to complete it. But in a Loyalty Day parade is going to go down Joliet Highway instead of Cedar because of that this year. But yeah, it's just be starting in a couple weeks. How long till you're 16?
Well, end of May, so.
End of May this year?
Yep.
All right, that'd be some good behind the wheel hours is working on that roundabout. Good to see you kids here. We're glad you're here. Thank you. All right. There's nothing else. Trustee comments, Trustee Scalise.
Nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight. Trustee Wilson.
Nothing tonight.
Very good. Trustee Galuza.
Nothing here.
All right. Trustee Madsen.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. There you go. I like it. Trustee Riser.
Yeah, happy Easter, and I haven't been here that long, but this was a thick one this time. You guys have been busy. Appreciate you guys. Staff.
Thank you.
Great job.
Yeah, a lot of work goes into it
A lot
for
of
sure.
good stuff,
Very
too.
good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Well, we have no need for executive session tonight, so if there's nothing further, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Scalise, second by Trustee Wilson. All those in favor signify by a voice vote of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.